recorded like mad earlier, like early in the day, like when I first woke up and everything. And yeah, so no matter. Different lighting. It's nighttime now. I'm gonna finish this drawing up real quick. So we're gonna do a reaction to a viral clip with your boy Ricky Ross Rose, the hottest rapper in the game, the biggest boss. I mean, listen, he's still a boss in my eyes. I guess, kind of, sorta. So if you wasn't around in hip hop, right? What Rick Ross basically did was Rick Ross has been able to stay relevant. Pardon me. I'm gonna step on that. Pause. By being on social media and taking advantage of social media. So people may not realize, matter of fact, why we doing this, right? People may not realize that Rick Ross was always utilizing social media. Hold on a second. Hold on. Rick Ross. Funny. There we go. Boom. So Rick Ross has kind of always been making funny videos and stuff like that, and kind of always being online. And that was smart. So Rick Ross, he's a funny guy. So with the advent of the internet and artists being able to control their image and post on social media, what he'll mostly do is it's like a comical slash lifestyles of the rich and famous type of lifestyles, usually showing off luxury, showing off his nice property and whatnot. Shout out to the boss, but at the same time, he adds a twinge of humor. So during the Drake and Kendrick beef, right, when it kind of seemed like, now I'm not sure whether or not he got that phone call, but it was kind of like, all right, this is going to be the time in my life. Because never forget, if someone wants or has, or you have something that someone once had, or they want or would like to have, it's very hard for them to really be a friend like that. And Academics made a good point about the fact that Drake and Ross weren't like day one best friends. It's more like, we got like a kind of like a work relationship and whatnot. But that's kind of a hip hop thing, right? Where it's like, at least for the older generation, if you had records with a nigga, if you had songs with a nigga, you didn't really diss them or go against them in public. And it was kind of like, all right, boom. Once it's almost like when you do a song with someone in hip hop, they become a part of your family tree. And in a way, they do become a part of your family and your history, right? Especially if it's a record that's good. So Drake and Rick Ross have that history of having a lot. Actually, I think Drake might be Rick Ross might be one of Drake's biggest collaborators. How many songs Rick Ross got with Drake? Let's ask Google. Let's use technology. How many songs does Rick Ross have with Drake? I think it's like 10. Yeah, 10 to 15.
Drake and Rick Ross.
Relax, yo. Sorry. See you right now. Already getting ahead of yourself. But they got like mad joints together. So I think that during the whole beef, right, it really was a thing that was talked about and communicated, because all the rappers who weren't Kendrick all jumped on the same side as if they knew what time it was, as if they understood, this is what's happening this is what's happening right now. They trying to blackball Son, right? They trying to bring his value down and whatnot by promoting the song. And it was just really weird how like no one, especially no one who like collaborated with Drake, no one who had Drake records wanted to speak up. And from the outside looking in, you wonder like, all right, what's going on? And I'm gonna tell you what's going on. If you've never been around rappers, you gotta understand that rappers have a hard time being friends with other rappers, because it's tough being a rapper, because it's one of those things where you're so emotionally involved, because a lot of it has to do with people liking you and really being into you. You can't really have this attitude of, I don't care who like me, and also be good at rapping or be relevant and be popping, because people have to be into you and what you do, right? And the nature of rap music is that, that's not going to last forever. That's not going to always be going on. You know what I mean? And people will move on to the next thing, which is why reinvention has to become a skill. You have to make reinvention for yourself normal, and you do that by constantly trying to do new things, constantly giving yourself new challenges. always updating your wardrobe, throw everything away. If you got money, yo, you should throw all your old shit away. All right. If you want to become a new person, you need new clothes. You might need to move. You might need to go on the juice cleanse. I wouldn't do it. If I was doing a cleanse, I would do beef and salt water, or salt and beef. I'd do that. I think that's spiritual. You know what I mean? That's spiritual to me.
Miss, you've had your surgery.
We're good to go.
So this is Ross on the internet.
Accusations. These are not accusations. This is false accusation. And match, I saw them.
Can I please say this? And no, I am not a theologist. But can I say this? If for some reason you talk rose into going underwater, it's no way I'm going deeper than the whales. It's no.
he said, I'm not a theologist. I think you meant to say, I'm not a marine biologist. That was a totally missed opportunity to say that you was going to be a marine biologist, or that you not, or the boss, Ricky Rose, is not a marine biologist. But it's cool. So, this is what I'm talking about. So during the hold on a second. So during the beef with Drake, right on dissing Drake IG. So during the beef with Kendrick and Drake, it was like he said, all right, boom. I know for a fact, if I hate on you right now, I'm gonna be able to get it off. I can just say how I feel and just keep it 1,000 with you. Rick Ross even had a Drake diss that people forgot about. It was called I think it was called White Man. So this is I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of funny. It's Rick Ross, I think, calling him White Man.
White boy.
Oh yeah, white boy.
I got a question. I saw you posted you.
So I forget how Rick Ross had nothing to do with nothing. He had nothing. Like, Rick Ross was only dissed on Family Matters, I think, because I forget why he dissed Drake, but I feel like his diss came first, and then Drake shot at Rick Ross on Family Matters, right? Along with like mad people. That's why people start making this stupid argument about, yo, if you're going to diss someone, then just diss them. Y'all niggas, you cannot do that. No, stop it. There is no rule about how many niggas you can diss at one time. What are you talking about? Like, whenever people start inventing or creating rules that will create a scenario where you lose, always pay attention to that shit. And that's something that niggas do. And if you ever find yourself in a situation where all of a sudden someone says, oh no, you can't do this, you can't do that, and basically they're inventing a rule for you, no. You do not have that power to create just a limitation. And during the whole Drake and Kendrick thing, you start seeing niggas get into this whole broke nigga activity. Where's broke nigga activity?
That the box is ready to go, so we're gonna head there now.
I'm a decent man from the city of demons. Niggas
broke nigga activity. This broke nigga activity of just making shit up. You know what? They should have got sued for doing all that.
Sue you.
What?
For defamation of character.
For defamation of character.
This is about to get ugly. Because now you're just making shit up.
You know what I mean? So anyway, so somehow Rick Ross, he interjects himself into the beef. I think a part of it is him understanding also that, yo, I need to stay relevant by jumping on what's hot and what's current. And listen, it did do the trick. You know what I mean? You
got more money than Ricky Rose. And let's assume you did. Well, your best friend, Birdman, his house went into foreclosure 5 years ago. You done watch that man struggle them 5 years and then get that man a mansion. Because if you got more money than Rose, what's another 50 million, white boy? White boy, it's one for 40 on Indian Creek. It's one for 50 on Star Island. You got 48 hours, white boy. If you got Ricky Rose money, ain't none of my niggas winning foreclosure. Come on, white boy. I'm finna bust a bottle. White boy, don't do stunner like that.
So I'm guessing this is after he got dissed on Family Matters. But anyway, but before that, he just was tripping. But what it really was like, let me tell you something. Dark-skinned niggas in general, Because again, you got to realize there's a hierarchy amongst black men, and dark-skinned niggas and Pookie is at the very top of the hierarchy when it comes like credibility to support. When it comes to just the overall entitlement, just the entitlement of everything. Like dark-skinned niggas always feel entitled to something. You hurt their feelings. You forgot about their birthday. You know what I mean? You ain't hug them tight enough. Something. Dark-skinned nigga always finds something to be mad about. All right. So again, no one at all was talking to Rick Ross, and he somehow he found himself in the midst situation, right? So throughout that time, he part of this record. Would talk crazy about Drake, and then he started doing this gay shit. Pardon me, at the shows, because the reality is this: your catalog is what your catalog is, man. Like you have your records you did during your peak, all right, that people know you for, and a lot of those records, I mean, I'm not gonna not. Aston Martin Music is probably one of Rick Ross's like biggest records, biggest songs that people know. Man, hold on a second. Let's play. Hold on, where's it at? Rick Ross performing Aston Martin Music live dissing Drake. So Aston Martin Music is one of like his biggest songs, right, that he's ever had, and one of the Drake probably is all over that damn song. Drake is singing the hook. Drake has this verse in the middle. And I feel like it did like a bridge, right? So anyway, naturally when he go do his shows, he gotta do the hits. So Aston Martin Music is a part of the hits. People love that record, right? So what niggas will do is save face, and rather than kind of live in reality and whatnot, right? And this is something and this is what it means to tear other black men down. Rather than show love, right? Rather than show respect when respect is due. You taking the opportunity to say, all right, well, I'm going to try to make it seem like your little homie. Ross, you look really crazy trying to call Drake little anything at this point. It's 2026. All right, you've been past your peak. It's about 2013. That was again like 2008. I'm gonna say 2006 because 2006 is when you started getting popped. That was coming out of high school, so I was like 05, so which is a long time. So we're gonna go from 05 to like 2012, 2013 is because like we're gonna basically go to when Maybach Music is at the very height, and then eventually what happened with Ross wasn't really able to make different kinds of records and go other places musically, or at least make music that sounded way different. And that's always the problem with street guys. Street guys have great rap voices, but they're not really able to create the best catalogs because they're not able to go to different musical spaces. But the main thing is being able to make projects that don't sound the same and are still enjoyable, and also demonstrating your ability not just to put. A lot of people, right? They have a very basic idea of song structure, and song structure in and of itself is what makes a song enjoyable. So for example, I could choose to do 20 bars of just singing in the very beginning of a song where you just start singing, and then after that comes the hook, and then the second verse could be a rap, you know what I'm saying, and then after that it could be a bridge, and then you may not even have to have a hook. You can have things that sound like hooks, or you can have a song where hook, verse, and for some songs that would fit. But you don't have to stick to 3 verses, 3 hooks, or 2 verses, 3 hooks. You don't have to stick to that. You can do whatever you want. The idea is how long is the hook? How are you saying it? Pause. How long is the hook? Pause. How long are you rapping for? How long are you singing for? Your understanding of everything being exactly where it needs to be at. But again, a lot of people get caught up in the sound if they can get that far, and they get caught up in putting the song together. So they'll never really experience, being able to say, all right, boom, now let me start building up the actual structure of the record, meaning that, all right, where am I putting the verses at? You know what I'm saying? This all this shit. I wanted to change, but anyway, so this what Rick Ross be doing when he play Aston Martin Music. So rather than let it play, Fam. Drake reacted with crying emojis and shit. Anyway, so the reason why I know, and we all know, right, that for the most part, Ross has always resented this dude's success is because when you thought that it was not so much over for him, but basically there was going to be this time where the industry was going to put Drake on blackball mode and no one was going to be like allowed to like interact or support it, because it really was like that. It was like, yo, these are all people that you've been around, you have relationships with and stuff like that, and you literally didn't see anyone who was famous come to his defense as if it was told by the manager, yo, listen, this is what's going on right now. Homie finna go through it. You know what I mean? It was like a one big concerted effort against this guy, and Rick Ross wanted to like kind of ride that wave. So here we are in 2026, right? Iceman on the way. Iceman coming in a few days, my boy. So I heard academics point this out. The fact that, yo, it's looking like, you know, it's going to be an apology tour where everyone's going to kind of backtrack, and you really seen everyone give kind of half-ass apologies or half-ass, you know, hey, you know, it's all good. You know, I love your music and everything. No Iceman on the way. You know what I mean? Because what it is that we're back to reality. Now, don't get me wrong. I made this point in this other video that I made about Charlemagne. Well, more so mentioning Charlemagne and mentioning the point that narratives matter. If someone got a platform, it's a reason why, you know, there's censorship and regulations when it comes to what goes on the radio and on TV and stuff like that, and why you couldn't show a certain amount of skin, you can't show a penis on TV. There's so many different things that, you know, that are censored and controlled and regulated for a reason. All right, the powers that be understand that, right? It's the reason why certain people are able to break through and get to that next level. The powers that be understand all of that, right? Messaging matters, platform matters, you being able to be heard by a lot of people at one time matters. So someone like Charlemagne making it popular, making mainstream, and kind of getting planting the idea in the minds of people of, basically he's a part of like Drake kind of becoming a meme, because his harsh critique, because it would basically be, hey, I think you're really talented and whatnot, but I also think you're really corny and this and that. And it's like, yo, in what reality can you call someone who can there is no, like, if there was a dude in your town, right, who's able, that all the girls want, and he could smash your girl and any girl he want, and he got money and got cars, and you come, and even, matter of fact, even the word corny, even that concept is a lot of times I think it's wrongly used. It's not really used in like a solemn, honest way. It's mostly used for the most part to tear like a dude down, or tear a black man down. That's mostly what the word corny is used for, right? Because you gotta think about what that means. Like you can't call someone corny when they're more popping than you. That makes no sense. That's the same as me being 145 pounds, looking at a power lifter and saying, hey, nigga, you ain't that strong. Like, I mean, like, nigga, like, no, I don't think you're strong. There are guys out there who lift logs and trees and whatnot. Have you ever heard of Hercules? I just don't think, like, you're not stronger than a Greek hero. That's why I believe it's strong. If you want to ask me what is the litmus test for how strong you are, if you can't do the 12 labors like Hercules, it's not for me. That's how haters be talking. What they basically, again, it's like this world building shit where they build a world around you. Don't let niggas like build a world around you. Let me tell you something, because that's what losers do. One behavior of losers is that, you know, what they want to do. What?
I've been not.
Relax.
I've been not talking. So what are you talking about?
Rose. I know. Losers, again, always want to waste time on something, right? Because that's what they do, is waste time. Want to waste your time and their time. Even with Ross, right? Nigga, you mad at Drake because your music stopped popping and you stopped making different records. You stop rapping over different beats and rapping about. It's not even that here's a quiet kept secret. no one cares what you rap and sing about. It's about the sounds and the feel and the emotion and the shit sounding new. That's it. It's mostly it. And that's why the smartest thing to do, and the fastest way to keep yourself sounding fresh, whoever's next, go do a song with them. On Blueprint 3, who's on Blueprint 3? Mad goats. Like all the young nigga goats was on Blueprint. Not all, but I'm just saying you had Cole on there. You got Drake. Now, I don't like Drake's song on there, but Drake was still on there. Hov went got Drake. All right. And Kid Cudi. I feel like he had someone else. But either way, but he went and got these people, and they were up and coming, they were young and everything, and their features were impactful on the record for the most part. Right? And that's the blueprint for how Hov was able to have all these eras where, like, again, and the way that I heard the phrase by academics was really, I think it was really cool. It was like every time Hov puts another album out, it's interesting. Like he gets a chance to do this like one more time. Whereas a lot of people were only able to have the flame, to have the fire for like maybe a year or two, maybe an album or two. In terms of like people being excited about their music, which mostly comes from the fact that if people feel as though you gonna make a new version of the same song you already made, then then again, it's like a story. They don't need to know what's gonna happen. Like if you create a track record of I'm gonna make the same songs over and over again. Like even with what I'm creating right now, I'm conscious of the fact that like, I need to make an effort to make all these songs sound very different. Somewhat cohesive and make them all sound different so a person never feels like, you only do these kind of records. The idea is, no, I do music, my nigga. So anyway, back to the Drake apology tour, right? This is why it's so important to not be too invested in what no one has to say about you. And I don't mean, hey, you ain't washed up in 3 days and you stinking, and someone says, hey, Johnny, your armpits. If you want to come around me like that, keep your arms down. All right? Almost passed out when he waved at me. You know what I mean? He did one of these, and I said, one of those. You know what I mean? What's going on, man?
It's small.
I think it's small.
We need to be thinking big.
Right.
Okay. I agree with you.
I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip and everything of Ross basically just saying some this was a bullshit, honestly. Cause like, it was his version of saying, yeah, hey bro, I got mad love for you and all that,
Saturday night, I said.
Because what really happened is this. French Montana is another frequent collaborator of Drake. They got a lot of records. Matter of fact, what's funny is Ross got the most Drake features, y'all. Hold on a second. Or the most Drake collabs, y'all. How many records does Drake have with French Montana? I think it's like 3.
And French Montana have collaborated on at least 3 to 4 major official tracks,
so
including hits like Pop That and No Stylist. Some sources suggest there are more songs, but these are the most well-known collaborations.
Are there any other collaborations outside of these 4 high-profile ones? Let's see. So Splash Brothers, Big Pun. Oh, sorry. So that was leaked. Elevate. It started from the bottom. Was present in the studio. Okay. All right. So basically about 4 or 5, right? So again, apparently what it's looking like is this: French Montana is getting back active. Okay. He got a record with Ross, Max B, and himself that he just put out. French Montana understands, in order for me to get popping back again or to be lit again, right? I'm going to use all my resources, but I can't use my Drake resource because he probably be saving that one. But if you think that French Montana ain't about to reach for Drake, pause. You out your goddamn mind. But, at the same time, he want to make these different moves and whatnot. And I guess, French had to go, go have some. He had to build with all the Saudi Saudi princes, all the sheiks and whatnot. You know, he got married to that rich girl with the oil, I think. And he kind of just been ghost, bro. You know what I mean? Just living the life, man. Every time I see this nigga, he's showing teeth. You feel me? You know what I mean? Just showing teeth. You know what I mean? Like,
chill for what? Who is this nigga?
You know what I mean?
That's how I feel listening to this, man. Like, I want to respect you, but...
You know what I mean? Know what I mean? My bad. He been showing teeth, right? So, but a part of the wave is that he's like, all right, well, boom. French probably trying to do a record with all of them, bro. He trying to get them all together. Because for the most part, what I realized the other day, right? I'm listening to this old French record. I think French Montana he performed, what's it called? He performed Shot Caller at the Verses. That's another thing too. So French Montana also did the Verses with Rick Ross, right? So when he's doing that record, right, that's an old record. But at that time, what French was showing was that French, like on the low, French was a little bit ahead of his time in terms of like him being a New York person, right? And his understanding of making music that got motion. Cause I was listening to this album with him and Max B, which I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed that shit. Like that shit brought me back to like what's supposed to be like when you hear mixtape and you enjoyed the mixtape. Like I really was bumping that joint. It had good like mixtape replayability. You understand? So French is trying to get his motion all the way back up. So his name back in the headlines again, right? He got the records out. So he just put out another record with him and Max B. And French Montana is also adjusting to the 2026 era of like, all right, how fast the music gotta come. But also too, what he's showing is his understanding of song structure, cadence, you know what I mean? Like knowing what to say, like there's all that stuff. But even when you hear Shot Call, you can still hear, okay, I'm hearing how good French is. I always thought French was good, but I'm hearing like, wow, you know, like French got like mad records with motion. But anyway, I'm gonna let this play for a little bit, you know what I mean? We won't let Rick Ross bullshit. Rather than saying, yo, listen, bro, I ain't mean for things to go this far and whatnot. I was being a hating ass old head. I kind of just wanted to kick you when you was down. Don't ever think that people around you don't want to kick you when you down, my boy. Don't be naive, yo. Don't ever let niggas like play with you. That's why you gotta always like keep it a stack with niggas and set the tone and make sure that, yo, when they see you keeping it real, it makes them gotta keep it real. They gotta be honest. That's why honesty is important. Because when you're around someone, right, and you make them feel like it's okay for them to be a little punk, it's okay for them to be disrespectful. Once you make them feel like that, right, it's like you co-signing bad behavior. And for the most part, this is the cancer that Kendrick Lamar spread upon the industry. This is another way in which it hurt the game. It didn't help the game for Drake and Rick Ross to beef. They had Rick Ross kind of, for the most part, putting a stand on his own legacy, because history is going to look back on this and say, Rick Ross was beating a hating ass old head. But in the moment, Ross was getting caught up in the moment. If you've never been popping and you never experienced, yo, a lot of times your older dudes will be jealous of you. Especially if they ever had any kind of emotion, right? They will actually act jealous of you and be jealous of you. A lot of people don't know that shit, right? Or understand it, right? So, it's just like one of those things where it's an opportunity to have a real conversation. But Ross is trying to lean too hard into, or trying to lean, it's inappropriate. He's trying to lean into the role of, you know, him being the big homie, and he just want to give some advice and whatnot. Here's the thing about being the big homie, and which I've understood, is that when you talk to younger men, if it's not your actual little bro, and even then, you have to adjust the game and conversation and talk to them more like peers. This was hella phony, and just in a way a little bit fucked up too. You understand? Because the way he's gonna phrase it is like, oh, you know, we got to come together. I don't want to see you lose, this and that. And here's the thing about everything you're saying. You're not in a position to give advice. That's why this is cringy. Niggas ain't never got nowhere from listening to you. If you ain't the nigga who can say, I'm the one that told Drake to do this. I'm the one that got Drake. Nigga, you never was help. You didn't help Drake. I'm gonna get me wrong. It was a good opportunity to be on different kind of records. I think you guys did good music together. But at the time, any song you did with Drake wasn't like seen as a look for Drake. It was more like two hot rappers coming together. At that point, Drake had so much motion that, which was kind of unheard of for a rapper. Most rappers, for the most part, can only do this if they have real good music, where they kind of essentially put themselves on. Say like Nelly, right? Nelly was someone where he had the support of his people and whatnot, right? But his first records are solo records where it's just him and his vocals. You don't know who the Saint Lunatics are. I don't know if they helped him with them records or not, but Nelly had mad joints, bro. Andale, mommy, uh-oh. What? As far as like catalog wise, bro, like listen, I think Nelly could have had a long career if he would have understood, but just been more ready. A lot of people are not ready to go into another era, right? And which involves new clothes, new producers, new thinking and whatnot, and trying to get better. A lot and one reason why that happens is because of black culture. Another part of our culture I feel is that a lot of the men don't realize vision. Having a vision is a male. It's like a male behavior, a male trait. Being a visionary, being able to have foresight and whatnot, right? And being able to create it, because it all revolves around planning and action. That's what men do. You plan and you act. A dude learn how to fight. It's mostly planning for if I ever have to defend myself. I know how to throw a punch. I have an idea of what to do. I know how at least to cover my face, right? Something. Versus, damn, I've never thought about this. I don't know how to make a fist. You know what I mean? Shit, you never could have. You ain't gonna make it. You ain't gonna make it. You're not gonna make it, my boy. So, without having that thinking, without having that right, things cannot live, things cannot thrive without male leadership, and that involves planning. That involves someone saying, "I'm going to lead." And most black men don't have the confidence to lead themselves, right? So that planning won't happen. That's why you see so many rappers kind of like they'll still make new music, but you can tell they won't maintain the fire. You're not maintaining the fire because you have not taken time to really learn music and learn what's hot, right? Whereas someone like French, now I don't know how the young kids feel about French and everything, but which doesn't matter. As long as niggas know who you are, the people who were fans of you 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, as long as you've tried to be a better artist and make make hits and whatnot, or just make good music, that same fan base is gonna rock with you and come see you. Because they're going to be checking for you. All you got to do is give them something to really, really, really enjoy. And it don't even got to be that good. As long as it's pretty good. You know what I mean? You kind of Gucci. But I'm going to let old boy rock out while I have a little smoke break.
Tonight, and it touched me because I said it.
Yeah.
Pause. I just started the drawing. You talking about somebody touching him. Already talking crazy.
I said, damn, I signed a 6-album contract for a $30,000 advance. I flew in on a $50 million jet. We never complained. We never cried.
Never.
We hustled our way out of any situation.
1,000,000%.
You understand?
1,000,000%.
Nigga, don't hate on no nigga. And when I said that on stage, my nigga, I let DJ Nasty call that shit out. Whatever we gonna do, DJ Nasty, you let me know. Okay, we doing Aston Martin minus the Drake vocals. And when I said that, my nigga, wherever homie at, look, Montana still fuck with you on 1,000.
Yeah, shout out to Drake.
Listen to me.
It's all love.
Montana done came to me and nigga, we done had conversations, nigga. Listen, we ain't on no I'm not on no disrespectful shit. Montana, real nigga. Ricky Rose, you know me. You know I love to be disrespectful. That's what I am. But my nigga, listen, it's deeper than rap. It's deeper than rap, homie. This is the first time I said this. Montana fuck with you the long way. You understand? Ain't no funny shit on this side. It's 1,000. And when I play records, I perform records, my nigga. Ricky Rose was the biggest nigga in the game, nigga. I had motherfucking John Legend and all the biggest niggas.
And I'm gonna make this critique real quick. I'm gonna say it again. I'm not sure if it's clear or not. I still think Rick Ross is an amazing talent. It's just about you having it's not even confidence. I'm sure his next project gonna be good and whatnot. It's just a matter like, yo, as I've been making music and everything, right, on my own, I always make this observation. I keep making this joke with everybody around me that's older. And I keep saying, yo, there's a reason why they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And as I'm making joints, right, and I'm like, you know, and my homeboy, I brought this up before. My homeboy was saying how, like, those songs sound new. Like, they sound current. They don't sound like, you know, basically, it don't sound like no old head shit, right? Or sound like something that someone would make necessarily that's from our era, you know what I mean? And why did Raj know for him, he's listening to Joel Ortiz all by himself. And, you know, I'm joking. Shout out to Joel Ortiz. But I'm just saying, depending on where you are in your life, right? Depending on how much you progress mentally, yo, no, because when you were in high school, it's saying like, yo, like I'm sure like white guys are more into like underground artists more, right? Or the whole trope of like when white guys are younger, they're more into like certain kind of music. Because like when you're younger, you're more anti-establishment. You're more kind of going through your rebellious phase. So rebels need rebel music. You know what I mean? Rebels need rebel music. So you'll identify with stuff like that a little bit more. So when you're on the come up and whatnot, I mean, it's what it is. Like, yo, like gritty music, underground niggas, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it's broke nigga music. So you'll find yourself maybe that it might appeal to you more when you're hearing that shit in your headphones. When you try to play that in your car, if you got a nice car with a nice speaker system, you play that old crappy song in your speaker, yo, it's not going to sound the same. It's not going to hit the same. On top of that, you won't relate to it as much no more. You understand more like, yo, nigga, I'm listening to music to enjoy myself. All right, I don't like again when niggas start making this point about everything not about a party and a good time and whatnot. Kendrick put out a song called I think "Let the Party Die." Yo, man, come on, man, you ain't. Nah, man, just.
I'm fat, bro. I pick my stomach up. I put my stomach on bitches' back when I'm in the doggy like, you raggedy bitch.
Fight! Who wanna fight? Who wanna fight?
All right, man.
Who wanna fight?
I think he has some more.
Niggas in the game on speed dial, ready to do albums with me. We collaborated with the niggas all my homies wanted to.
Broke his finger?
We never said niggas weren't qualified, but homie, what we was saying was at the time, niggas was speaking for you. Niggas have the biggest niggas in the game on speed dial. But nigga, the niggas in the studio from Montana like, call my nigga Drake. Cool, call homie. Before I ended the night, I said something tonight and it.
Anyway, so this is basically, this is one of the first times that Rick Ross has spoken positively about Drake. You know what I mean? Because for the most part, one thing that happens with OGs is that, yo, you have to understand that, yo, what kind of like where you are in terms of your perception and how people look at you. So when people would ask Rick Ross about Drake and everything, right, he would respond as if he's still Rick Ross from 2010. He's still, I think on Big Meech, Larry Hoover, and I'm saying like he's still kind of on that kind of time, right? And he's responding as if, yo, yeah, like, yeah, man, you gotta get it together, you gotta figure this shit out, and this and that, rather than say, you know what, let me stick up for him because I don't know him. I got mad music, bro. You got I got 14 to 15 collabs. That's a lot. I think that's a good amount. I think that warrants that you should be someone who should say, nah, bro, we ain't doing that. Or at least do what other people did, which is don't say nothing. All right? If you're not going to speak up and say anything positive, don't say shit. Just shh.
Talk
about my
that.
if you can talk about my career, then I could talk about your life.
Yes.
And it should be.
The internet should still flame you up. Whenever if someone's trying to rebuild a relationship with you, you gotta also understand too. Now, I don't know if it's gonna be in time because Rick Ross got a new album coming out. So French got new shit coming out, and I think for the most part, this like his mixtape stuff. The way that he put it out there. Listen, like the stuff he just put out, that was for the joint mixtape with him and French. He for the most part just been getting. I'm sorry for him and Max B. French mostly been getting Max back right and find himself in the process. But Rick Ross got an album coming out. The smartest thing that he could do and what he should have been doing is you should have been starting this last year because you could have had 3 Drake. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how dope it would be for Drake and Ross to have 3 bangers between 2025 and now, right? Some new Drake and French music, you know what I'm saying? Why I'm like some new Drake and Wayne, I don't know, something, nigga, damn. But anyway, so I wanted to comment on this right here. You know, it's interesting. I'm gonna speak about it a little bit more tomorrow, or throughout the week and everything. But you know, I wanted to make sure I kind of touch on the subject, and we got a little work in. But all right, man, we about to be out of here. You know what I'm saying? Y'all subscribe to the channel.
He's been stealthing women.
Like the video.
Like